Something that's been on my mind quite a bit lately is a concept that was first, I can't remember exactly when I first heard it, but I just know that once I did, it just kept coming up over and over and over again. And from the first time I heard it, I had a lot of resistance towards it. And I couldn't quite understand what people meant by it because it didn't make sense. And it's this whole concept of neutralization and acting like you don't care about your manifestation or desire and just making it feel normal. So, again, I've been into this for a long time. I've started with law of attraction and then, kind of made my way up and have been learning about this since. But so when I look back on my law of attraction days, at that time I didn't hear the concept of neutralization, and so what I understood manifestation to be was just have a desire and then let it happen for you. But you just maintain your like feelings around it. Like don't lose hope when things don't work out in your favor, basically, and just stay positive, which is what I did. Even if things looked really ugly in the outer world, I would be like, you know what, it's fine because it's working out for me. And I remember I was manifesting things very quickly. I had no, concept of time. I wasn't even really paying attention to it. I just let things happen for me. It was kind of like taking a back seat on manifesting. Like I just put my desire out and then it one way or another came to me, and time was not a factor because I didn't really care because I knew it was going to come anyway, right? And I think at that time I did believe in divine timing. By the way, if you hear noises, my mic is probably not the best, so just disregard. Pay attention to me. Um, but I wasn't neutralizing any of it. Like if I like with my career when I was manifesting the raises, I was actually getting excited about it. I would imagine, talking to my manager and him just saying, "Hey, you got the raise." Um, or if it was, getting money or going somewhere or like whatever it was, I would just feel the excitement of whatever that it was, and then I would carry on. And when things were happening for me that felt like it was in alignment with me getting that desire, I wasn't acting like, "Ah, yeah, this is normal for me." I was like, "Oh hell yeah, yeah," because I know it's working out for me, right? And again, I had no problem. I was manifesting flawlessly, like nobody's business. So then fast forward, to a couple years ago when I found the law of assumption and the process of, trying to manifest SP, I started watching videos from all kinds of coaches and I think who was the very first, I don't even know, it was some guy on YouTube who talks about like getting texts back and whatever. And so I clicked one video and then of course the algorithm starts feeding you more videos. But I remember I just kept seeing people say, manifestation is so easy. All you do is make the decision or make the assumption, and then, you let it go and blah, blah, blah. And just let it happen. And, but the one thing they kept reiterating was, you have to make it neutral. You have to make it neutral. And I thought, what do you mean make it neutral? Because, hi, Waffles. Because I mean, am I not allowed to be excited about my desire? Am I not allowed to look forward to it? Like, why am I making this neutral? It's not something that's neutral to me. Why am I playing mental gymnastics with myself, right? Let's not even get into the deeper aspect of it. So I would be like, okay, fine, I have to make it neutral. So in the process of trying to get said SP, um, you know, uh, if he would text me, I would get excited about a text, but then I'd be like, oh shit, hold on. You got excited, now you're gonna lose it. So I was constantly monitoring myself and almost shaming myself. Not I don't know if shame is the correct word, but correcting myself because I'd be like, oh damn, I got excited. Now I had this fear in me that I was gonna lose the manifestation. And that cycle kept going on and on and on and on because I just had, and then on top of that, there were all these other things that I kind of picked up on along the way from different coaches. And I'm not saying it's the coach's fault. You know, viewer discretion is advised. But I think when people don't know enough, they kind of start picking up because they see these people thinking, "Oh wow, like they manifested. I want to learn how to manifest like them because they're, like look at them. They have the money, they have the lovers, they have the career, they have the home. Like I want to be like that." Not realizing those people are setting their own limits along the way. And the reason I say that is because I've been kind of in an observational stage, and I've noticed I'm like, well, these are limits that you've put on to yourself after realizing that I had accepted it, like the whole thing of neutralization. And so what I mean by that is, well, first of all, I'll preface this by saying it's manifestation isn't the law of this person or that person, or the law of assumption or the law of decision, or it's it's the law of you. It's what you make it to be. Because once you understand what all of this is and you get to that deeper understanding, you realize it's really just you. And if you want to sit here and accept that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, then you understand that they kind of work together. You can't have one without the other, right? You're the awareness of the human vessel, but you're also the human vessel itself, right? And a lot of people say, like, so the funny thing to me was people would be like, you're human, feel your emotions, when it came to like the shitty feelings, right? If you got into a breakup with your person, or if you maybe lost a job, or you're low on money, people would be like, you're only human. Remember, at the end of the day, you're human. You have to feel your negative emotions. You have to feel them. It doesn't mean anything. Process them. Okay, great. But then when it comes to processing the good emotions, suddenly it's like, no, right? Like, oh, but don't get excited because then you're settling for breadcrumbs. Don't get excited because now you're implying that you don't have, and this is not normal for you, which I think is such a dumb thought. Because if you're an excitable person, you're gonna, and first of all, why can't you feel both emotions? Why do you only have to feel the shitty ones to consider yourself human but not the good ones? Secondly, if you're saying that your higher self is all knowing and everything is you and you're everything, then don't you think when you get excited about something happening for you, that your higher self would know that you're not just explicitly excited about a text back, that it knows that this text is just part of the like the grand unveiling of your total desire, and you're allowed to be excited because you know what's coming. Like I don't get it. I don't know why people say act like you don't care. I care. My human cares. This human that I embody is a very caring person, right? Like I get excited even if I'm with my person for a year, 2 years. I get excited every single time he texts me. I get excited every single time he tells me he loves me. I get excited when I make plans with my friends. I get excited when I go out. I get excited. My friend, she used the analogy of traveling vacation. She was like, when you go on vacation, aren't you excited? Don't you start like planning your outfits and your you know your what is it called, your excursions and the things you're going to do and the photos you're going to take? Yeah. Does your vacation suddenly disappear? No. So why are we all of a sudden like taking the joy from ourselves of the whole experience? I thought manifestation was supposed to be fun. I thought it was supposed to be, a good time and high vibes. I will say though, my friend and I, again, she's a very brilliant young lady, and I talked to her a lot about this because her and I were like, we're two girls, and we get excited about things. Why does it feel like we're, kind of monitoring ourselves? And that's how it feels. Because like I said, I get excited. That doesn't mean that suddenly my shit's gonna get taken away from me. And then like there's all these, caveats behind it. Well, are you settling for breadcrumb? Well, again, don't you freaking think that how my biggest grief, I guess, with all of this is, how do you sit here and say, you are source, and you're this I am, your greatness, and you're everything, and you're the universe having a human experience, and you're the whole ocean in one drop. You're not a drop in the ocean, right? All these grand mystical quotes people have just been throwing around. But then they go back to limiting you. Oh, but don't get too excited because then you're accepting n- the bare minimum. Oh, but don't get too emotional because then you're implying that you can't, that this is new for you, that you don't know how to handle this kind of lifestyle. Oh, but don't check because then you're saying that you're looking for external validation. Oh, but don't do this. And it's like they're all limits. If you really like sit back, you'll see it's all limits. Every coach has their own limits. Because if I'm really sitting here and saying that I'm limitless, then I don't care if I check the 3D. I don't care if I get excited about a text back. I don't care if I, don't visualize the end. That's another thing I was talking about, the end. Go to your end. Go to your end. Okay, if we're being honest, the end for most people is probably just death. Like, oh yeah, I want to, till death do us part. I want to have a relationship with my partner that's lasts forever, right? And for us humans, the end is death. So am I just gonna forget every experience in between and just go straight to my end? No, right? Like obviously that's a dramatic explanation, but that's how it is. Like if you want to visualize the middle part, okay, then visualize it. Who gives a shit? Like there is no difference. You're gonna get what you're gonna get because your higher self, your whatever you want to call it, your consciousness, it knows exactly what you want and how you want it. And by how, I don't mean like the exact steps as to how you're going to get it. I mean like how you want it. Like what, like for example, if you want a relationship and you want a man and you want a specific kind of man, it knows the reason that desire is even in you and the human you is because it came from up above, if you will. So why do you have to sit here and explain yourself to yourself when you're claiming you're all knowing? It makes no sense to me. When I say I want my perfect man, am I going to sit here and explain explicitly every single time what the perfect man is to me? No, because the consciousness, the thing already knows who I'm talking about. And so when I say, "Oh yeah, I'm about to meet my perfect man," that's also not saying that I'm in constant search of him. It just means I know what's happening. It's like, semantics also. But the exciting thing is like it's so ridiculous because you're taking away from the joy. I've been saying it's not about being neutral or normalizing. It's making it's making it natural in the sense that like be authentic to who you are, the human vessel that you carry, right? If you're someone who, like, don't get me wrong, some people are just really nonchalant and that's okay and that works for them. But I am not a nonchalant person. I am very chalant, right? And some people they get excited. Maybe like girls, we giddy up and we get excited about all kinds of things. I go and get my nails done. I get excited every single time. Does that suddenly mean I'm no longer gonna get my nails done because I got excited? When I go on a date, girls, I mean, I don't care. I guess I won't speak for all girls, but myself personally, I go and buy a whole new outfit. I go and get my nails done. I go and do my hair. And it's not because I'm like worried, it's just because it's like I'm excited. I'm gonna look good, I'm gonna go on a date, I'm gonna have fun, and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, whatever the plans are. That's just excitement because that's who I am. The human me, that's how she feels about these kinds of situations. She gets excited, right? If you talk to me about freaking football, I'm not gonna give two shits because I don't care. That's not my thing. But I bet you if you talk to a man and about his little football fantasy team, he's gonna uh, spring all the joys out on you, right? And tell you who his favorite player is and how many touchdowns or whatever he's done and all that. So now I have to act like I don't care about a date because I'm afraid. I've been told that it's that if I get too excited, it's gonna my ego is gonna snatch it away from me because I'm not implying that I'm the person who gets the date anyway. That like it makes no sense. It makes no sense. When did we stop being and acknowledging the human, like and that's the thing, it just it's I don't know if it's hypocritical or contradictory because again I've heard so many people say, but at the end of the day you're a human and you're having a human experience, so you have to do it, da 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 da. But then they'll like, and on one end it's like, okay, yeah, feel the shitty stuff, but when it comes to feeling the good stuff you can't either. And now you have people like that maybe haven't been in contact with their person for X amount of time get excited when they see a text and all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, they're policing themselves. I got excited, and now their fear and their identity or whatever you want to call it is in shambles because they're remembering what their coach told them about being excited. Nope, you have to neutralize it. I've never been neutral about anything in my life. I am a passionate person. I feel very strongly for a lot of things. Why the hell would I be neutral? That see that like to me that's a limited belief. Like go experience life as you would. If something makes you happy, go be happy. If something makes you feel good, go do it. And do it in a way that's authentic to you. And listen, as someone who's tried to adapt the personality of someone else, like I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be like a savage and I'm gonna do this and da da da. It did not work out well for me because I wasn't being authentic to who I am, to who I experience. The minute because I remember I was having this conversation, it was kind of with myself, but also like because I was trying to debate on I was trying to figure out whether or not I should do something. And at first I was like, no, like I don't need to do anything. Everything's happening for me. Da da da. Da. And I'm not saying I was doing something to make things happen, but I was acting from a place of like I just wasn't sure if I should do it. Um, it was basically like having a conversation with someone. And then because I kept going back and forth with myself, I was like, you know what, at this point it's not worth it because I just confused myself and I'm not even sure anymore. So I let it go. Then the thought came back to me a few days later, and I thought, okay, you know what? If I'm being authentic, like let's put all these conflicting thoughts to the side. Before I even knew about the law, if this thought came up to me, what would I have done? And I got my answer, right? Like because I'm being authentic to myself, it's who I am, it's how I am. And this is someone who I'm someone who, I act on my instincts or whatever you want to call it. Like if you're someone who I don't even know what's a good example right now. But okay, let's just use the example of your SP because that's a big topic. If you're someone who like you like to have a conversation when you get into an argument or a fight or whatever, and you like to like actually just sit it, just get clarity, right? And so you'll text your person like, "Hey, can we have a conversation?" And they say not right now, and you let it be. But normally what you would do is you would kind of like ask again because you're like, no, you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, and I'm telling you we need to have this conversation. Like that's just authentically who you are, right? You're like, no, because I'm a lover and I like to get clarity or whatever the case may be. But then you kind of come into this and they're like, well, you know, set your boundaries, but know that it's happening for you. And I don't know, I think I'm losing my words here, but it's too much. It's too much restrictions, there's too many limits, and they don't even make sense because one minute you're allowed to be human but then you're not, and then like the next minute you're all that is, but then you're not exactly enough because you got excited and breadcrumbed yourself. Like how does that make sense? I really don't get it. How can you be all knowing and then say, "Oh, I settled for a breadcrumb." Who said that's a breadcrumb? Like who how what if that little thing that you considered a breadcrumb was literally the catapult or was the catalyst to your desire, and it's just everything just boom right after that. But now you instead of enjoying the moment and being like, "Hell yeah, this is working for me," you have the words of some coach in the back of your mind saying, you better not get too excited. It's going to get snatched away. So now you have to pretend like you don't care. Now you're being someone else. You're not even being authentic to who you are. You're lying to yourself. And you just probably like dug yourself into a rabbit hole of confusion and God knows what kind of doubts and fears. Right? Like I would say it's about authenticity. Like who because this whole journey from my understanding and yeah, manifestation is part of it and it's great, but it's remembering who we are, right? Which is we're far more than just this human vessel, this human body, right? We're far greater than earth, than the TV you watch and the animals and the trees and nature. Like we're more than that, right? We're this grand consciousness that's the universe, and it's experiencing itself through you, kind of thing. Okay, that's wonderful. But if you're remembering that and you're this grand thing, you're suddenly telling me that now you found your way to this grandiosity, but now you're super limited. Like, it doesn't make sense. I understand if you don't understand, like, if you're not someone who says I'm source and I am, and whatever, then okay, live with your limits. I don't care. But if you're someone who's saying I'm more than this, I'm limitless, I'm all knowing, and I'm all being, and I'm all doing, then how are you all knowing, all doing, all being, but then you're sitting here limiting yourself to what someone told you to do, or and it's just not authentic, because like I said, if you're all knowing, then you know that you're having this experience through your human vessel, and you can't just deny your human vessel, because your human vessel is kind of what led you back to that awareness, right? But then now that you are that awareness, you have to also acknowledge that you're navigating this world through the vessel. And when you're navigating it, you need to do what's true to you. Not everyone acts the same, not everyone has the same desires, not everyone processes things similarly. So what works for someone else might not work for you, but only you decide that. Only you get to say what works for you and what doesn't. If checking 3D is your thing, then do it. Who gives a shit? Like, I remember, because for me, if I'm texting my friend and we're like deep in conversation, if I hear my phone buzz, I'm gonna check to see when she responded, because I'm like, I wanna this conversation is going really well. Like, we're talking, and I'll check my phone. If I'm waiting on an email from someone, I'll check my emails. I'll refresh that shit. I don't care. And I never once thought, oh, I'm gonna lose my desire. But then, like, the last, year or so, I started I was watching all these content to manifest SP back 2 years ago. Everyone's like, "Oh, you can't check 3D because then you're gonna lose it," and all the shit. So then I started getting scared and living and trying to act like this nonchalant person who doesn't care, who's neutral, who's like, "Yeah, this is normal for me." I mean, well, yes, it's normal for me, but I don't have to act like I don't act like that. I don't like that in real life either. I'm a very caring person. I care. I get excited. I do things. I show my emotions. I walk with you. Like, I'm so emotional. Like, you can just look at my face and be like, oh yeah, she's feeling X, Y, and Z. So why am I gonna suddenly act like I don't care and act neutral? I'm being dishonest to my human self. I'm snatching the joy away from her by trying to pretend to be someone else when that's not the case. That's not true. I'm supposed to enjoy this experience, not make it harder and miserable. If you can't feel the emotions, any of them, all of them, then what is the point? Why even come to this knowing? Why even get into this? Because even if you had all the money and the success and the love, if you couldn't feel the emotions of those things bring to you, whether it's happiness, security, love, I don't know, joy, angry, jealousy, any of that, then what is the point? Just go get a fucking lobotomy and live your life emotionless. Is that what we're doing now? We're just lobotomizing ourselves mentally? I don't get it. Anyway, okay. I think I'm losing my rant here, but that's all on neutralization. I hope it made sense. It made sense while I was speaking, at least. But I'm probably going to talk about this again, because my friend, she has some really good points, and we really talked about this for a long time, and I want her to come on and talk as well. And she said she will when she's ready, so that'll be a nice um little bit. And then this conversation also just made me want to go on to other ones, but I have to pace myself because I can't dump it all into one video. I'll be here all day long. Um, but yeah, thanks for listening.